Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Live from the nation's capital, we are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican and then the Socialist. A big, big night tonight. A wonderful opportunity to merge history with science and the wonders of technology. Dr. Joanne Martin, the president of the National Great Blacks and Wax Museum Incorporated, will be with us in a few. And we'll be talking about a very, very wonderful project that might enliven the degradation of a community within Baltimore City. I'm your host, Ken McClinton. You are listening to the Exception Conservative Show live from Washington, D.C. We're bringing it to you on TECN, the Exceptional Conservative Network. Also live on SHR Media and HP Talk Radio. We are broadcast live as well on live stream and Ustream. We're excited to have you in our company this particular evening. Dave Milner is in the chat roll this evening. Melanie Collette, better known as Money Talk with Melanie, is in there. And of course, my beloved Mary Brockman. Mary is my bouncer in chief. If you diss her, you diss me, and you will be dismissed from our program. Much going on in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is setting the world on fire through executive orders. We'll be talking with the Kraken himself. We will also be talking with Lonnie Poindexter at the halfway point of this particular program. In addition to that, we will be talking with Shannon Wright from the Shannon and Mike Show. And listen, there's so much going on. Also this week in Washington, D.C., we actually have the actual March for Life. Yes, March for Life. I think it's on Friday. I believe it is. And we'll be talking with everyone about that as well. Hopefully you get the sound and everything's right with the quality tonight. Hopefully things are rocking and rolling. I want to thank God, first and foremost, for this particular day, because this is the first day since we've been syndicated that we haven't experienced any technical difficulties with any of our programs. I'm just elated and excited and joyful this particular evening. You can just feel the passion in my voice at this particular point. One I thought was conservative. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, something's going on in that chat room. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get this started, you know how we kick this all off on our program. And tonight, I think we would be able to see the chart. Apparently, there are some issues with the live stream on my particular program, but that's okay. We're being covered by Ustream at this point. We're going to try while I speak. Okay. And a lot of people have complained recently about my program. They can't get into certain things. It's because we're getting exceptionally popular, the term exceptional use. And sometimes there is such a great draw. I want to thank Eva Rosenberg from taxmama.com for Monday night. That show was well listened to. And I think people are agitated by the point that this is the beginning of the tax season. And quite frankly, there are many concerns. People are concerned about the Obamacare situation. They're concerned about so many other things. And so they want to get their taxes right. And it's so good to be able to have and to call upon great thinkers and laborers in the field of this particular work. And so Eva Rosenberg will be back with us next month as well, and in March and April as well, as we rock the house with that information. So before we really get started, kick off everything, because we're going to be talking with Dr. Joanne Martin. There's this plaque that I can always put up so that we can do something which I think is very important, that your kids should be able to do it. when they first show up for school. It is the Pledge of Allegiance. Hopefully everybody can see it. If you're going to do a wax portrait of me, this is where I want to be seen. So, all right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. Let the kids lead us in today's Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart, take all your hats off and everything. Find a flag and pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Woo! There you go. Patriotism at its very, very best. Now, let us, one ringy dingy, two ringy dingies. Let's get Dr. Joanne Martin. I'm excited about this. I've been excited about this. Well, let's bring that down just a little bit.
Hello.
Good evening. This is Ken McClinton from the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from Washington, D.C. You're on the air with us, Dr. Joanne Martin.
Yes, well, good evening to you, too.
Good evening. It's a great pleasure and honor to have you on our program tonight. You have a magnificent opportunity tonight to express to the world how great your facility is in Baltimore and the great many plans that you have for the revitalization of the neighborhood in which the National Great Blacks in Wax Museum Incorporated is located. But first and foremost, Dr. Joanne Martin, why did you get into this particular field some 30 some odd years ago?
Well, much of the credit is due to my very black conscious husband, Dr. Elmer Martin, very much a product of his time, of the black consciousness, black power, civil rights era, who believed certain things that continue to drive the museum. He said that some of our African American institutions have to be willing to stay in our communities to make those communities stronger. He said that conventional wisdom all over this nation is that you hide your poverty areas, and once you succeed in hiding them, then you can succeed in neglecting them. And he believed, and his mantra was community development and cultural economic development go hand in hand. So that, in large part, helped us to make decisions about where the museum would be located. And then on the other side of that, as a product of his time, he found that his students at Morgan, only a few years younger than he, had decided very early that learning black history and culture would be of no value. And so they fought the fact that the format of his class, though it was social work, was very much tied to the history of our family formation and so forth. And then he sponsored a Little League baseball team of Baltimore City youth. He had ID pictures taken of the kids so that they could play in the league. And one of the little kids came to him upset, angry, fists clenched, and demanded that Elmer make the photographer take the picture over, saying that he didn't, that they had made him too black in the picture, and that he didn't want to be that black. And you know, we were the say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, and black is beautiful generation. And to have the college students say that career-wise it's possible to be too black, and then to have this kid going back to what we have been fighting against, that physically it's possible to be too black. All of those things kind of converged into our understanding that we needed to institutionalize our history in a way that it had not been done before.
Now, you have Carter G. Woodson on display, and I believe he's right at the front door, because I visited your facility. I was enamored with the amount of history just in the lobby area. And it's a very beautiful, at least historical facility, in my opinion. So you have W.E.B. Du Bois there, you have Carter G. Woodson there, but you also have this very huge elephant in the very lobby. Can you tell everyone exactly what that elephant and whom is riding on it, what that means in terms of historical reference sake?
We have the elephant and riding atop the mighty Hannibal. And the military genius. Elmer wanted that when you walked into the museum, you understood first off that you were in a place that was different. That
Yes.
you weren't going to find a Caucasian Hannibal. And so the idea of this man who had a North African who had the wherewithal to um, in the Alp Mountains to take advantage of the terrain, so to tell his soldiers to beat their breastplates and make a lot of noise so that they could um, um, fool the Romans into thinking that the Romans were outnumbered. And to ride, have put many of his men on elephants, and so to have this army of African men coming at the Romans on the noble elephant, and so making an impression, and the tactics of Hannibal still being taught today in military installations. So it definitely makes an impression. And for little kids coming into the museum who might find the wax figures rather daunting, to be able to be distracted for a little while by looking at it. And we hear them say, "Mommy, mommy, look at the elephant." So just that in our lobby as an introduction to the museum.
It is an enthusiastic piece, truly, of great significance because Hannibal is studied around the world by military leaders and as well political leaders. His work in North Africa and actually invading the Alps of Rome, forgive me, of the Roman Empire at that particular time period was significantly, is still significantly studied today. He was an immense military and also political leader in his day. And when you, it's just in the lobby area, because I didn't get a chance to go in on that particular day, and I do promise myself and my family that we're going to go and visit. Uh, it is so breathtaking. You literally capture your audience from the moment they enter the facility. Now, how long has that building been there, and how long have you all been working in that particular community in Baltimore?
We moved into onto North Avenue in East Baltimore in 1988. The museum was founded in 1983 in a small storefront in downtown Baltimore on Saratoga Street, and we moved to North Avenue in 1988. The firehouse into a firehouse, a surplus firehouse that we got as a part of a grant, loan grant from the city of Baltimore. And so the firehouse was built in 1921, and we occupied it in 1988. So we have been there since 1988. We began in 1997 acquiring the properties in the block because we made our decision that we wanted to bring, through tourism, to bring the revitalization and to show that museums can make a difference in communities. They can bring those communities back to life, and that for African American museums, that was a part of our obligation, our calling.
Indeed, we're talking with Dr. Joanne Martin, and this is an extreme honor for me. We've had a multitude of senators and congressmen and others who have come on the program, but to me, I am deeply moved by the work that's done at the National Great Blacks and Wax Museum in Baltimore, Maryland, significantly because of the dramatic impact it will have in terms of revitalizing its community. Now, you're in a community that's virtually a block away from the prison in Baltimore City, or the police facility in Baltimore City, and that has been noted during the riots last year uh, for the extended period of gentrification in that particular neighborhood. I mean, there have been like 30 years, and the homes and things that particular year have particular time period haven't been revitalized. Uh, what motivates you all to stay where you are and then to buy property with the idea that what you're building is really going to transform that neighborhood?
Well, one of the things that we have been able to show, we're one of the most visited museums in the city,
Exactly.
and museums in our city, they get their general operating support furnished from the city or the state, and we've had to stay in our museum and make a way out of no way often, but people from all over the nation come. The majority of our visitors come from out of state,
Yeah.
and despite our location, they come to a community where they have no reason to be except that Great Blacks in Wax is there, and no good reason because the building, one of the buildings you referred to is the courthouse,
Yes.
and it attracts, unfortunately, we refer to it as an institution of loss because that's people come to when they come to the courthouse, there is usually something very, very tragic involved. But with Great Blacks in Wax, we know that we have a mechanism of uplift. And so people come, they come to revisit. We have two exhibits that we know bring them back, and that's our slave ship and our lynching exhibit. Because it's a history. We're not afraid to tell the history. We're a museum with a message, and that we feel that those messages are important. We have Elmer's message from the ancestors prominently displayed, and one of the lines is from our ancestors to tell our youth, we didn't die by the millions for you to kill one another by the thousands.
Ah.
And we endured their bondage and any number of situations so that we could walk in unity and live with dignity. So those messages are very, very important. And when I have children to come through and they cry, that for me is a victory because it means that they have empathy, that maybe they will value life, that they will look at the history and feel that so much sacrifice has gone into my being able to be here and to be in this world, and that I need to value life.
Indeed, the valuation of life is so urgent and so important in our communities. We're talking with Dr. Joanne Martin, and if you don't know who she is, you would know who she is if you visited that museum, which is it is one of the most beautiful museums I've ever walked into, and I've only been in it for a few moments, in fact. And I can't wait to go to the National Great Blacks in Wax Museum. It's at 1601 East North Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland. And you can call the museum at 410-563-3404 to schedule your class or your organization's visitation. And you can find them at greatblacksinwax.org. Dr. Joanne Martin has been at that facility for, oh my goodness, almost 35 years. Am I correct?
That's correct.
35 years. And so this is not someone who is just trying to get a paycheck. This is someone who loves and knows how important a museum is in presenting not only history, but a reflection that every color of blackness has been represented, and that you can find yourself in any avenue or any thought pathway in Black history and be noted accordingly. You are in the process, as you have purchased a extensive stretch of property in Baltimore, Maryland. They're a very lovely, and I saw the design of it and I'm very impressed, a very lovely museum. First and foremost, a lot of people say, well, why don't you just move the Wax Museum down to Johns Hopkins area, and that way Black people can come there and everybody be happy and safe. Why are you building that beautiful expanse along that particular portion of North Avenue?
Well, we want to be able to show that museums that can be at the heart of revitalization.
Yes.
And going back to my husband's observation, that some of our African American institutions have to be willing to stay in our communities to make those communities stronger. We can't all run away. That's where our children are there. We have to be willing to be where our children are, and we have to believe that our children shouldn't have to think that they have to leave their communities to find something worthwhile.
Exactly.
That right there in the heart of their community are worthwhile institutions and events and activities. And it's about that. It's about trying to create a world that will embrace our children, and that our children can embrace and take us into the future and help to make a better future for future generations.
We talked earlier about the fact that even within our own race, there are certain distinctions that people either discriminate against or necessarily prefer over any others. And the whole idea that one has to be a certain shade of black to be acceptable, I find very offensive, especially in a culture where we persistently say that we're fighting against racism. Significantly, how has that museum changed the culture of Baltimore, especially in the area in which you are? Are there individuals there who say, well, thank God for this particular museum being here because now I have a better understanding of where I came from and who I belong to?
And, we hear that all the time. I particularly like when I hear that from teenagers and African American males. And I have had teenagers that use the word transformed about coming into our museum, and that is just so amazing and powerful to me to hear them use that word. But when we started out, there's been just an enormous pressure on us to move to the harbor, and much of the challenges many of the challenges that we've had to face because we just dug our heels in and said no, we're not going to do that. We worried about moving to the harbor and having someone say, well, that slave ship, you got to tone that slave ship down, and that lynching exhibit just absolutely has to go. But this whole idea, when you look at our wax figures, from the very darkest to the very lightest and everything in between is what is represented in our museum, because that's who we are.
Exactly.
We were concerned at the beginning about how to get the skin tone right, and you get magazine pictures, and most of them were in black and white, or they were and the ones in color, but people wanted them back if they lent you a magazine for a little while. And so my husband sent a photographer out in the city with a camera and said, just take pictures of black people. And they brought the pictures back, and he said, okay, well, this is our Marcus Garvey, or this is our Hannibal, or whatever, and that's how we were able to get the skin tones, and that's very, very, the skin tone and the hair texture are part of what define us, and so we are very conscious about trying to get that right.
Listen, when I walked in there, I saw Carter G. Woodson. It was like I'm walking into Carter G. Woodson. You know what I'm saying? Literally, I am walking directly into, because I've seen pictures of him and I've seen what people have tried to do with this picture, but you have an exact replication of Carter G. It was absolutely stunning to behold. And I was in complete awe of your facility. Now, a lot of people think that maybe you go around back or whatever, you put some paint together and a couple of candles, and you got yourself something that you could throw up there. How much time is put into creating each one of those pieces, and how much money does it cost to do that?
Well, we are comfortable with about 5 months. And we work from photographs. We have a team of people, because it's a team effort, and a lot of times people will say, "Well, who's the artist?" And that's not a question that's easy to answer, because the person who sculpts the face is likely not to be the person who does the hands.
Mm-hmm.
And the persons who do the face and the hands are not likely to be the ones who make the torso, which has to be made to exact dimensions. There are costumers. You start with research because you need certain information. But our figure of Belial, there aren't pictures of Belial, and they tend to be artist renderings and so forth. The Muslim Islamic muezzin who called the people to prayer and who refused to deny Allah and so forth. So you have to look at the fact that he would have worn a beard as a Muslim. He would have, men at that age, at that time, would have been about a certain height and so forth. So often you have to do that kind of research. But it's about accuracy because we're honoring someone's legacy. We could be in a situation where Shirley Chisholm is going to be standing next to the live Shirley Chisholm was standing next to her figure. So we don't want someone to look at that figure and say, well, who is that supposed to be?
Exactly.
And again, it's about honoring and being and seeing this as a craft, and that God has blessed us to be able to do what we do and to honor Him as much as anything.
Now, Doctor, there was much controversy at the Wax Museum in Washington, D.C. because it did not include Clarence Thomas. Is there a distinction in your facility? Is there a narrative that's not accepted or a person that would not be considered for a wax sculpture in your facility that's part of Black history?
Well, for me, it's about whether they've earned their place in history. And so we have a committee. We consult scholars. We try to honor the history as much as possible. And I have to, just not allow my personal. That's one of the reasons for the committee made up of scholars is so that it doesn't become a matter of my personal likes and dislikes about a person.
Exactly.
So we try to be as objective as possible. We have a nominating process and so forth. So when we received national designation through an act of Congress with legislation introduced by Congressman Elijah Cummings and Senator Barbara Mikulski, supported by and co-sponsored by Orrin Hatch.
Yes.
And we had signers on like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and Senator Conyers, Congressman Conyers, and so forth. We had to follow and show that there were guidelines about who would be inducted into the museum, and it is an induction process and so forth. So that creates a certain objectivity, and that objectivity is necessary, because if I let some of my personal feelings get in the way, then they would get in the way.
Exactly. And I honor you because you have Dr. Benjamin Carson in there, who is considered one of the great Marylanders. You have, and I want to go in. I want to see the great African pieces of Shaka Zulu and Humtep, who is considered one of the wisest men who ever lived, and had touched not only politics but science and culture in his day in Egypt. And how can people visit your facility, and how can people support your facility?
And especially as we look to expand, and as we're working hard to expand the museum, we are working right now with an organization to upgrade our website so that people can, you can go online now and donate, but we want to expand that so that people can invest in the museum. They can invest toward a gallery or a brick, or any number of ways from the lowest to the highest denomination of funds to have a stake in building the museum. But you can go online, you can become a member, you can donate, and you can visit it. And that's very, very important. We feel that if you visit, you can go out and then become an advocate for the museum and all of those ways that our institutions need in order to survive.
Exactly. Dr. Martin, I know that you have a very hectic schedule, a very busy schedule in terms of preparing and building that large edifice to come that I hope revitalizes the North Avenue neighborhoods significantly. And I must commend you and your husband who has passed, but uh, your love goes all the way down to every person in your facility. I was greeted warmly, I was educated wisely, and encouraged to get in contact with you. And I must commend you and your staff for staying put and for putting your best foot forward in terms of changing that neighborhood from the inside out. And I wish you the greatest blessings in terms of moving forward. And I would love to have you come back and talk about the expansion in due season.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and to your audience, and I appreciate that you took the time to visit, and I hope you'll come back and let me know, and I'll take you on a behind-the-scenes tour.
First and foremost, before you go, who is in the airplane in your lobby? If you could tell everyone about that, that is absolutely the most beautiful piece there. Can you let everyone know?
We have Bessie Coleman in her plane, and she was such an amazing woman. She understood the power that she had as the colored lady pilot. When she became a stunt pilot after World War One, the fact that she wanted to lend her effort to World War One and by being a pilot, but she had those people who thought they could make those decisions. She had two strikes. She was black and she was female, so they denied her a pilot's license. But Bessie Coleman didn't allow anyone to take those kind of liberties with her, so she went to France to get her pilot's license. She came back. World War One was over, and she never got a chance to participate. But she became a stunt pilot, performing in air shows across the nation. And she knew that the draw was the colored woman and the white guys, and that of those two, the colored woman was the draw. So she wouldn't perform in a air show that where coloreds and Negroes could not attend, or where they had to sit in the colored section. And she held firm to that and was able to shut down a show in Orlando because they wanted to not obey her rules. And when they saw that they weren't going to get the people to come to the show and were demanding their money back and so forth, they went to Bessie Coleman and said the colors can sit anywhere they want to. But again, Bessie Coleman understood the power that sometimes we don't exercise, and she understood the power that she had, and she used that for the good of her people.
Well, I'm looking forward to visiting the National Great Blacks Wax Museum in Baltimore. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to encourage that you get, since Black History Month is coming up, we only get 28 days. So, so I'm encouraging each and every one of you, get your organizations together, track to Baltimore, Maryland. The National Great Blacks and Wax Museum. It's at 1601 East North Avenue. You can get in contact with them at 410-563-3404. I'm going to give you that number again because I know you didn't have a pen and paper ready, but you can also find it at greatblacksandwax.org, greatblacksandwax.org. You can call the museum at 410-563-3404. That place should be crowded. There should be such a waiting period that it exceeds the waiting period for the National Wax Museum here in Washington, D.C., the Afro-American. Because to be honest with you, I think your lobby is even better than theirs. I'm just letting you know. It is. It's just better. And I look forward to actually visiting the facility sometime in the next couple of weeks or so. And I will take you up on that offer for the behind the scenes tour. And I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And thank you so much for your dedication to Baltimore.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Dr. Joanne Martin, we were speaking with, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm running behind schedule. You have not heard any commercials. So I'm going to make up for that in just a few and play some for you. But I'm also going to encourage that you do this. I know some of you all are listening on the download in Washington, D.C., in the metro area, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, New Jersey, all around this particular region or whatever. And you know it's going to take you at least 6 to 12 months to go to the National Black Museum, Afro American Museum, however way they say it, for Washington D.C., so that you can set in line so you can see Oprah. I'm going to recommend highly that you do something that might take you to another plateau in understanding and comprehension, and that is to actually visit the museum, the National Great Blacks in Wax Museum in Baltimore, Maryland. I would encourage you to get your kids together for that. I would encourage you with all my heart and soul that you do whatever you can to make certain that your children get a chance to see history. I mean, real history, not stuff that's made up for them. And it gives you the opportunity that you can go to the harbor after that and have lunch, and you can talk with your children about Imhotep and about the Jim Crow era, and about you can talk with them about them because you will see in wax figurines, which are absolutely gorgeous, the actual history, and it gives you the opportunity to open up conversation across party lines, philosophical lines, faith and religion lines, so that people can actually see that everything that they say, think, and do can make a big difference. So much so that people want to remember you always, even in wax statuettes. So I'm going to encourage you all, take your family, take your kids, get in there. You don't have a 6 month wait like at the National Black Museum downtown, whatever they call it. And you can see some beautiful, I mean, the Hannibals, forgive me, I'm going to keep going on and on and on. For those people who are listening via Red Nation Rising, by the time we get back from our commercials, you will be gone. I want to wish you all the very sweetest and the very bestest, and hope that you have a very good time listening to us at 2 a.m. on the Liberty Channel. For those who have been watching me via Ustream and live stream, thank you so much for not allowing your computers to shut down. And yeah, I if you want to know something, the geek in me just comes out. And the geek in me, and Shannon Wright will tell you, the geek in me came out when I went into that museum. They had to pull me out of that museum so that we can move on to our next stop when I was last in Baltimore. So I just want to say to you all, it is a very beautiful place. I encourage you. And for those who are listening via SHR Media Live, this is Sackheads Radio Night tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. on the Left Coast time. The best guys in comedy on late night conservative talk will be there again. Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and also BZ sitting in. Had a wonderful show last night. You need to listen to it. In addition to that, for those who are listening to us on HP Talk Radio, thank you so much for the syndication. Listen, after this particular break, we'll be back and we'll begin talking with, I hope Lonnie will forgive me. I just thought that this was, the geek in me came out, forgive me. And I'll be talking with him in the 10 o'clock hour along with Ralph Chittams and also Shannon Wright. We'll be back with more of the best in urban conservative talk right after these beloved messages of the professor, Dr. Michael Jones.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We have a brand new show on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We are bound to make you think. We are bound to make you see things differently. We are bound to push you into action for not only your community, but your country. That's The Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. See you there.
for taking the call. And I really enjoy ICRN, your station, the station I listen to all day.
No, you. Okay, thanks, Dominique, for that. I don't.
The best late night conservative talk show in America, TECN Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than TECN Sean and TECN Clint. And we're working on the integration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, TECN Radio. The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red. From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Good morning,
I'm Michael Wright.
and I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and
I
you're
think so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike,
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time
live on SHR Media,
and on TECN,
where we'll be talking about all kinds of things,
from sports and politics
the food and entertainment,
to money
family,
and anything else in between.
community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Hi, it's your business diva here, Melanie Collette of Money Talk with Melanie on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., we talk all things money on a global, domestic, and household scale that affects you and your wallet. You don't want to miss it.
The bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR Media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, coming soon to ossicles near you. Excelsior.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. That's Washington, D.C. to you and me. Big week this week. It is the first week of the presidency of Donald John Trump. And let me just give him severe kudos, ladies and gentlemen, because he has knocked it out of the park. just this week. He had a press conference earlier today, and we'll be talking with Lonnie Poindexter, the icon of Christian conservative talk on Urban Family Talk in the next hour. And would you do me a great favor, the Kraken, who is in our chat row, can you let him know I will be calling him after the 10 o'clock hour, and I do apologize for the delay as my geekdom got to me and I was interviewing Dr. Joanne Martin. I interviewed Dr. Joanne Martin, who is the president of the National Great Blacks and Wax Museum in Baltimore, Maryland. I did it before Shannon Wright did. You know, I'm just saying, hey, drop the mic. You know what I'm saying? Please let Lonnie know I'll be calling him, and I do apologize for the delay. I hope that he'll be able to come on. And hopefully Shannon was not listening to that when I made that announcement. Please do not remind Shannon when I come on the air that I made that announcement that I interviewed Joanne Martin before she did. So just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to give him great kudos today because of the announcement regarding the border, and that by executive order he's instituted, and this has just been a big week. He instituted earlier the building of the pipeline from Canada into Houston and then down to the Gulf of Mexico, which I don't know what's the difference between all the other pipelines that we got going everywhere else, but apparently people were upset with that. And however, that pipeline will be built. In addition to that, a wall to be built along Mexico, and the aggressive attack against urban cities and liberal townships and villages and others, counties, that have pursued sanctuary filing or protection for individuals who have crossed the border illegally and remained in our country illegally. And I saw a lot of that downtown during the march, where people were saying, do not call people aliens, and they are not illegal. If you break the law, you have created an illegal situation, and you shall pay the price. But that and many others of his executive orders, the man is at work. The man is at work. Everything he said he was going to do, he's already created the atmosphere for it to get done. Okay, and so when I talk with the Kraken and talk with Shannon and talk with Lonnie in the next hour, we'll talk about the executive orders and things of that particular nature. And I want you all to give me your insights as well. And please do not tell Shannon, who said that Mike of Shannon and Mike was plotting and planning to knock her off. Like, can you believe it? I was listening to their show this morning, Drive Time show, and it was just a simple statement from Mike. And this is why men don't make simple statements around your wife, because you know your wife is always more complex than you. Okay, Mike, apparently there was a man who was in distress with his wife. He couldn't live with her any longer, so he took her to the bank, and he told her, you know, I can't deal with you anymore. And the thing is, I'm not going to divorce you, so I'd rather go to jail than be with you in the situation that we're in. And so he goes to the counter and scribbles a note saying that he's going to rob the bank. Now, of course, he gets arrested, and he tells the story to the police, and he's going to be charged, of course, and taken to court for armed robbery, or at least attempted robbery. Forgive me, not armed, but attempted robbery of the bank, which is a federal offense, of course. And poor Mike, it was just a simple reaction. He didn't mean it. Poor Mike of Shannon and Mike, the Drive Time show in the morning on TECN, commits the ultimate offense against women. He says, and here it is, and I'm quite certain Melanie and Mary and Claudia can side with Mike in the chat room. I'm quite certain they can. They can understand and sincerely show compassion here. He merely stated to his wife that he understood what the man was feeling. And it is artwork. Men, before you get married, you need to listen to go to Spreaker, go to TECN, listen to this morning's drive time show with Shannon and Mike in the middle of the second hour, and I will assure you, you will be prepared for marriage. You will have a better understanding. Dave, don't do it. They're gonna kill you in there, Dave. Dave Milner's in the chat room saying, "Amen, Mike. Preach the truth, bro." Oh my God. She literally turned every word that he said for the next 5 to 10 minutes on that program around in such a fashion where it made him guilty of sinister things, such as planning and plotting to knock her off. Now, I'm going to talk with Shannon about that, because men, we are defenseless when a woman who understands in complexity how she can just agitate you to the point where she gonna get you no matter what you say, no matter what you do. That's why and this is, men, be very careful here. Be very careful on Friday afternoons after she's had 2 or 3 Chardonnays, okay? Because she will call at 4 o'clock for the police to come pick you up at 5, meaning you can't break bail until Monday morning, meaning that she and her girlfriends can go on long trips and escapades and have a good time without worrying about where you are. So it's a shame. Dave said, "Ken, Jesus will be my shield." That is the fact that I'm 100% unattractive. Booyah! There you go. Drop the mic. There you go. Oh my goodness! It's men. Just listen. If you're planning on marrying a woman this year, and I know Valentine's Day is coming up this year, and you can go to Carrie Michelle. There is a listing on this particular page where you can actually order. You can go to the left side, and you can see the plussize.com page. You can click on there and buy a dress for your lovely wife. Please check her dress size before you do. Or you can order some scented candles to tell her that you love her. Do that before you talk with her about the fact that you understood what that man was going through, so much so that he wrote a note to the teller that he was going to rob the bank. Okay? So before you even broach the conversation with your wife, and I'm going to recommend to you that you don't do it in the first place. I'm only doing it because I'm a jerk. I'm sincerely men, stay away from that story. And if your wife comes into the room and she brings that story to you, do not say, "I understand what he was going through." Say this: "I understand what she was going through. It must have been a painful thing for her to endure such a love for him." That you gotta turn it around, and then get out the house. It's all down. It doesn't matter. It's like going shopping with your wife, and she shows you some jeans and says, "Do you think these will make my butt look fat?" Stay out of it. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. We'll be right back with more of the best in urban conservative talk right after these messages. And I cannot believe Melanie is so quiet in that chat room. It will be right back.
For the professional mechanic, the home hobbyist, or the most exacting pro shop, the Auto Parts Warehouse has the inventory, quality, and price you need to bring your projects and repairs in on time and with the most savings. From engine assemblies to flywheels, air filters, and body parts, the Auto Parts Warehouse has what you need.
My name is Christopher Arnold. I'm an executive chef of Infused Restaurant, and today I'm gonna walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. So we're making a pizza. We're using fresh Italian sausage that we cook here and slice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredients. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and a Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our famous blackened tilapia and grits, our fish and grits on the menu. Once the fish is ready, then our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused heat burgers. When we kick the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce, we start off with 80-20 USDA round chuck ham patty burgers, like half a pound of burgers, and we're going to grill it to perfection. After I flip the burger, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat just a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland, ladies and gentlemen. It is the place to go. And actually, if you go to the front page of the exceptionalconservativeshow.com, the front page of the exceptionalconservativeshow.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see that wonderful chef. And he's just a wonderful guy. And simply, you'll see Infused Restaurant. You'll know what the times are, when they're open, when the bar is open, sports bar, and they have concerts and things of that nature in there. It is the best food. And tomorrow night, and I have to say this because Mamba will get with the Unpleasant Blind guy and sue me if I don't do it. I will be eating the exceptional one. The double burger, double bacon burger. It's just about the size of my face. It's huge. Right here. I will have it right here on my black wooden desk. And I will be eating it live. Okay? And that's just to show you how great the food is. It is completely awesome. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. Listen, I'm going to forego a commercial real quick because someone asked me where did that happen, and I have to give you the story. It's from Crave. It's 70-year-old man robs bank because he was sick of living with his wife. There you go. So I gotta put it in there. And see, I'm not going to share that with Mrs. Biggs. Mrs. Biggs has gone to sleep for the evening. I wouldn't dare share this story with my wife. I'm not. Oh, no. Oh, do you know it would take days for me to even. Oh, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. I am your host, the exceptional one, Ken McClinton. Of course, Mary Brockman, the bouncer in chief, is in the chat room. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed. And we are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican, and then the socialist. So, Melanie, that's your new show right there, boy. I hope Lonnie forgives me for calling him at this late hour, well beyond the scope of him coming on my program. And the reason why I love him coming on the program is because he's just a wonderful lion chaser of a man. And he wouldn't make the mistake that I would make in terms of what are we doing here? No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to do that one. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your lion chaser in the good fight of faith, Lonnie Poindexter, on Urban Family Talk.
We're not saying that there's not instances where there's maybe racial injustice somewhere. This is America, and people are human, and there's sin in the world. He's the president of first. He's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation any longer. But, we'll pray for our enemies while we defeat them.
You can't blame folks for messing up the city. There has not been an elected Republican in council in Baltimore City in over 50 years.
And the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittams. What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement. Don't be bamboozled. Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. And I know those would say, well, it's all rigged. It's all a game, Lonnie. Because I get that a lot. And they're the crew that has their bags packed at the train station waiting for Jesus to come back. We'll be here in a minute. No train, no train, no holes in Jesus. But he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Lonnie. How are you?
The core issue, the bull elephants aren't on the home. We got to do away with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I want to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Lonnie, it's an honor and privilege always to be with your ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station or network, contact Will Addison by email, waddison@afa.net. Encourage your listeners to be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
We are just honored to have with us the icon of conservative Christian talk, none other than the great one himself, Lonnie Poindexter. Good evening, sir. Plum pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Oh, brother, you're awake, and you know that at the end of the day, I just want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, please. Oh, please. No, you are the man. You are simply the man. He has 7 million people listening to him from around the country, from Manhattan to Idaho. Just a wonderful, wonderful artist indeed. Listen, Lonnie, and also you get to share time on the afternoon drive time with Ralph Chittams, Sr. How is that working for you, sir?
Well, Ralph and I just get together and do what we do when we're not on the radio, which is talk and serve up liberals.
You all are absolutely wonderful, and the popularity of your program shows that. Listen, I want to ask you first, because I want to put you on the hot seat, as a man would. Apparently, there is a 70-year-old man who said that he'd rather rob a bank than go home to his wife. And so I want to ask you, do you understand him? Really? I mean, do you understand his conviction not to divorce, but to remain married, but to be separate from his wife because he was, quite moved often by her?
Yeah, you're putting me on the hot. As a single man, my perspective is a bit different, but I'll just say this. I'm not saying I agree with him, but I do understand.
See, and he can say that because he's single. He doesn't have to worry about the next 6 hours at night of having to do it.
Sleeping with one eye open.
Now, for any married man who just agreed with us on it, please take his advice. You're going to have to sleep with one eye open, and both ears too. I want to ask you. You were watching you actually had purview of both marches last weekend. The inauguration, of course, which featured Christians praying in the name of Jesus. First and foremost, how impressive was that for an inauguration?
The only thing I can say is what a concept. It was so foreign to us given the last 8 years with the administration that was in power. A wonderful thing to see. I did a whole lot of pinching myself. I've never heard God mentioned so much during the inaugural ceremonies and at balls and press conferences and things of that nature that I was telling Ralph today on the show that it's a unique time. You know, we've been fighting this battle for 8 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, after a while you get conditioned. You expect it to always be the way that it's been. And now that you see that things are changing, it's hard to believe. I don't know if that's how you feel, but sometimes I go, Lord, you showed up. Is that really you?
Yeah, it's surreal. It really is surreal. You don't expect God to show up. You pray for him. You ask for him. And you every once in a while you tell people, well, I feel God's with me. But to have 3 preachers come back to back to back praying in the name of Jesus Christ and to end it in prayer, that was just massive. It set the tone for how we're going to be moving forward in this country after, like you stated before, 8 years. And they even moved out in the White House. Muslim regalia was left behind by Obama. Apparently, he believed that Donald Trump was going to get on his knees and bow to Mecca or something. But over the weekend, they got rid of all that junk. They took it all out, all the Muslim stuff out. And so the chapel has but one cross in it. What does that tell America in the sense of our expectations under this presidency?
What it tells America is that with all the foolishness of the mainstream media in painting this candidate, Donald J. Trump, into something he wasn't, as I heard Pastor Jeff Haygood say, Donald Trump's merely a sinner like the rest of us. But they tried to ascribe many other things to him that was not him. And then here you have the proof in the pudding in that as he has attained office, you know, the White House to me always represents sacred ground. You and I have talked about that before. And was it back when the Supreme Court ruled on same-sex marriage and Black Camelot blanketed the White House in the rainbow colors of the rainbow homosexual community flag. And I was really disenchanted with that. I said, do you realize what they're doing? I said, the White House is sacred ground. I've heard people say, well, how can you say it's sacred ground? I said, because blood was shed for that building. People literally died for what that building represents. So now we have a reprieve, and we have a president that's bold enough to state what he professes, whether you agree with it or not. And lo and behold, the faith-based communities in, around, and surrounding him. Yes, we have what we see today.
Exactly. And then on Monday, he righted a wrong of the Obama administration set some 8 years ago, when on the first day Obama took office, he signed to remove the ban against sending monies for funding abortions in foreign countries and pressing foreign nations to accept Planned Parenthood as the new God and their throne. And he signed by executive order reinstating the Mary Project. And then you have on Capitol Hill rumblings about defunding Planned Parenthood along with repealing Obamacare. Is this not what we've been praying for?
It is exactly what we've been praying for. It's just that it's been such a long time coming. We struggled to get it within the stretch of our 2 years that God could possibly have moved. And it's most certain that he moved. It's most certain that he and he alone did it because, you know, isn't it like God to use someone who really wouldn't fit the bill. You know, he uses the fractured or flawed vessels to bring about that which he wants to do, but he just requires that we, his children, take a stand.
Exactly. Now, also today, the stock market hit 20,000. It settled on the day at 20,000. We've been getting report after report after report that companies are coming back home to America, and that they plan on building factories. They plan on hiring thousands of people. And yet there are those who are on the left who say that all that stuff was going to happen under Obama anyway. And that we were going to hit 20,000 anyway. Is that the case in your opinion, or should we no longer listen to those who happen to be on the left who are haters, I guess?
Let me tell you something, brother. You know my background. I spent over 20 years in Silicon Valley working in the high-tech field. So I saw corporate America up close and personal. Corporate America doesn't pull up stakes and move to other locales throughout the world willy-nilly because of greed and greed alone. They move because it's a better opportunity for them to maintain profit margins, because they compete in a global economy. The reason why they're coming back to America is they have confidence in the commander-in-chief in America, because he understands commerce as well. Mm-hmm. And so just from one individual being put into the Oval Office, the confidence level comes back into corporate America. Hence, you have what the record-setting numbers in the stock market today.
And it was the jubilation. And it seemed the same jubilation that was felt at the inauguration. It was surreal. It was, wow, this is really happening. And I'm watching it happen right before my very eyes. I can't believe it. And so they were excited to stay on Capitol Hill regarding Planned Parenthood situation. And we got the March for Life on Friday here in the city coming up. And Wall Street's excited. But still, there were angry women on Capitol Hill. And you got a chance to watch that from your purview. And I just want your commentary and the closing moments here as to what's the real reason for that march on Saturday? Was it because we're not treating women right? What is that?
You know, the march had nothing to do with women's rights. It was a major PR and marketing ploy by Planned Parenthood, who, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, paid for the march. You don't just get 500,000 women rolling into Washington, D.C. and other parts of the country as well to march and protest. Somebody had to pay for all of that. Yeah. Somebody had to pay for the hotel room. Somebody had to pay for the food. So that's what you saw on Saturday. I had a chance. I went right down on Pennsylvania Avenue and just took a gander and began to film some of it. And nastiest bunch of women I've ever seen in my life. And I'm only calling them nasty because that's what they call themselves if you were listening to the chants and so forth, in the speeches from the entertainment loons that were on the podium, including Madonna and Ashley Judd and many of the others. And they dragged Gloria Steinem up. I thought she had died. Wait. They dragged her out of the crypt to come up. And I said, well, you guys are scraping the bottom of the barrel. And it was truly, but you know what? There's a lot of people here in this city. Now they're trying to say there was more people than the inauguration. I don't know about all that. I watched the inauguration. I see it was probably about the same number of people. They were there for both events. But here's why they did this. They were shocked and awed and dumbified, if that's a word, that they lost the election.
Yes.
So this is them firing the shot across the bow to let us know, as people of faith know, that the battle's not over. The weeds are not going to roll over and just die. You've got to eradicate them. You've got to pull them up, root them up. You've got to spray Roundup, whatever you got to do. But we must remain vigilant, because the Women's March was every bit a part of not white rights for women, but the, if I could use the term, the Trojan horse inside the Trojan horse was Planned Parenthood financing all this, because at the end of the day, it's really about silencing people of faith. They could not believe that the faith-based community showed up on November 8th last year and made their presence known.
Exactly. And they're being rewarded this week with the Mary Project signing executive order, the furthering of talk of defunding Planned Parenthood. I hope they go forward with defunding NPR as well. Listen, how can people listen to your wonderful program Monday through Friday, where you're just you are sensational as a host? How can they listen to your program?
They can catch my show Monday through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time Zone, and that's Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. And you can find it at urbanfamilytalk.com. That's urbanfamilytalk.com. It's a 2-hour show. And also you can catch our archives podcasts of previous shows, including my interviews with the exceptional one, Kenneth McClinton. And we are also over your radio dial as well. If you go to the website and click on the About button, it'll tell you what radio towers across the country that we broadcast.
I mean, this man has heard from Manhattan to the coast. It's just an honor to have him as a brother and a friend, and to actually be interviewed by him on Friday afternoon. So God bless you, sir. I look forward to talking with you this week as well.
Thank you, brother. I'll be at the March for Life on Friday, so that's where I'll be making my presence known.
Okay, well, good. I won't be on the air because I'll be at the March for Life as well. So good.
All right, brother.
Take care. God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the wonderful and more than great Lonnie Poindexter. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back right after these few commercials with the Kraken. Get ready, kids. We're letting the Kraken loose.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who saved $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to lendingtree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
Oh, you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Yeah.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Someone is sleeping on the couch tonight.
Meet Jason. He was really excited to start growing his business with social media until he realized how complex and time-consuming social media can be. It's difficult to manage multiple social networks and accounts. It's hard to monitor what's happening on social media, follow discussions, and engage with new followers. It's time-consuming to publish updates throughout the day, track and analyze how effective posts are, respond to fans and followers in a timely manner, and gain new customers. The list seems to go on and on. Jason quickly becomes discouraged. How could he ever do all of this and still run a business? He was ready to give up on social media until he found eClincher, the easiest way to manage social media. Jason was amazed how straightforward and simple it is to use eClincher. With eClincher, Jason is now able to leverage the power of social media without having to dedicate several hours a day. He can easily organize all his social media accounts in one place, efficiently plan and schedule his posts ahead of time, engage with his followers, understand the effectiveness of his efforts with powerful analytics, find new customers, and much more. In order to tell your business's story, simplify the process of managing your social media, and analyze results, sign up with eClincher today.
It's a love story like no other. From God's heart to yours. And for 30 years, it's been at the heart of every book, Bible, CD, gift, and resource from ChristianBook.com. Over 500,000 products, always at the very best value. ChristianBook.com. Everything Christian. Because it's our story, too.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always
Not always pleasant at all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. Yes, I know that I am running behind on these great interviews, but we're about to release the Kraken himself, Ralph J. Chittams Sr., live from the nation's capital. Good evening, Ralph. It's a great honor and privilege to have you on the program this evening.
Good evening, Mr. Exceptional. How are you and all of your wonderful listeners this evening.
They are happy to be listening to you tonight, Kraken. Listen, at first and foremost, since I got to put Lonnie on the hot spot, he's single. He can go to bed. He ain't got to worry about it. Of course, I know Patricia's not listening tonight. Please put her to bed. So here's the question. Do you understand the 70-year-old man's thoughts regarding preferring to go to prison than divorce his wife, even though he wants to be separate from her because of the way he's made her feel, or she's made him feel? You understand him, right?
I'm going to repeat something that I heard Chris Rock say a few years ago in one of his comedy routines. He said that if you have never laid in bed next to your spouse and actively contemplated the murder and where you were going to hide the weapon, you have never been in love.
There we go. It is the Kraken. We have released him. First and foremost, I am completely ecstatic about your interview by Cortland Malloy in the Washington Post as it was released today. It was a very good interview. But this is the one thing that I have against Cortland Malloy. He did not write in there that you are a great pianist either. Weren't you upset by that?
Well, I mean, that wasn't part of the story. A black man who can play a musical instrument is a dime a dozen. But a black man who's a Republican, that's a yay.
Now, pick up for everybody exactly why Cortland Malloy wanted to talk with you in the first place.
Well, because in the District of Columbia where I live, 1.5% of the people voted for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
1.5%. And, as far as black Republicans in what we call, east of the river, Washington, D.C., I'm the Republican that everybody knows. I'm the face of the Republican Party in Ward 7 and Ward 8.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to talk to somebody who was Republican, who had articulated that they had voted for Trump, who was supporting, President Trump's administration. And so we sat down and we talked for at least an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, he had so much information for me that he could write another article and not repeat any of the data that was in the piece that he published today.
Wow. Listen, I want to let everyone know the article, "This is One Black Republican Reveling in Being an Elephant in Democrat D.C." is a wonderful article. I encourage each and every one of you not only to read it, because when you go to Facebook, people have a great propensity to like something but never actually inspect it. But I want you to read.
That was my fault.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want you to read this article, and I want you to distribute it to everybody in your network. It is a wonderful article about the black elephant known as Ralph J. Chittams Sr., known to us affectionately as the Kraken.
Kraken.
But they didn't include that either. I'm really upset with him. But you make a point in here that, quite frankly, that the proposals by Donald Trump, if he just does a small fraction of the proposals that he has, that African Americans won't ever look back to being Democrats. They will be forever Republican. Do you believe that, sir?
Oh, absolutely. The 10-point plan that he laid out for urban America is not just a plan for urban America. If you look at it, it's a plan for all of America.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to tell me that only black people care about quality schools and school choice?
Exactly.
Are you trying to tell me that only black people in urban America care about economic development? No, I'm very serious. If Donald Trump can get 10% of his debt plan done by the midterms and another 15 by 2020, just 25% of it, he's going to be reelected in a landslide. And this is what I would love to see happen for the presidency of the United States for the next 24 years.
Listen, I did
Donald Trump gets his 8.
Yeah.
Mike Pence gets his 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Mike Pence, we get the first female president of the United States of America in Ivanka Trump.
Oh, now that's prophetic. That is absolutely prophetic. Listen, there are. You were also a part of the inauguration. You got a chance to sit and in the booth with a woman who said that she would not tolerate violence on the street of Washington, D.C. During the inauguration. Unfortunately, they were 2 blocks over burning a limousine. You were in the booth with Mayor Bowser, and you watched a certain band go by. I wanted you to tell everybody what that band was and how did it make you feel?
That band was the Marching Tornadoes in Talladega in Alabama. And let me tell you, those young people put on a show when they came by the mayor's booth, by the mayor's box on Pennsylvania Avenue. They had 5 drum majors who were out there twirling and doing splits. They had the dancers out there doing their thing. And when the musicians came by, they rocked the house. Those young people represented what we know to be the pride and joy of HBCUs all over the country, and that is the band.
Now they raised almost $750,000, and they didn't need all of it. They just needed maybe about $200,000. They got $750,000. Is it only the money that they got out of this deal, sir?
No, absolutely not. The money's important, but a lot of those kids had never probably set foot out of the state of Alabama before in their lives.
Yeah.
And so the easiest way to raise somebody's expectations, to raise the ceiling of their expectations, is to show them something or to take them someplace they had never seen before. And, a trip, and why do you think so many schools around the country, even high schools, come to Washington, D.C. every year for their annual school field trips?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Washington, D.C. is a city of inspiration. And people have their eyes lifted to the hills to become greater simply by coming here. So no, it wasn't just about them marching in the parade. From my perspective, It was about giving these young people a vision for something greater for themselves.
Now, when they went past the Talladega tornadoes, when they went past the presidential seating area. Donald Trump was standing there, and he was literally giving them an ovation, a standing ovation. Everyone stood with him and giving that ovation. The sad thing is that there were those who are on the side, maybe, who were on the outside not attending the inauguration, who were saying some very vile things about Dr. Hawkins and about the band itself. And quite frankly, is it about you, the individual, or is it about those kids having the opportunity that they won't have again for another 4 years? They may never have again in their collegiate life.
Right. So for those people, it was about their hatred for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And they had no concept or concern at all for the transformational effect that this experience could have on these young people.
Wow.
That meant nothing to them.
That's really sad because you're not human. I mean, we can disagree, but there's humanity. It's just not human not to want people to succeed. But that just seems to be the case with those who happen to be on the left.
Well, yeah, it's honestly, they are driving a narrative to completely divide this country. And what's really great is this is their narrative, but President Trump has gone into the White House swinging.
Yes. Yes, he has.
There's no grass growing under his feet. Now, I was talking to a few people today, and I was explaining to them what's going on with Donald Trump. And honestly, as much as I admire him for this is also going to get him in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump is a businessman. He's about results.
Mm-hmm.
he is not a politician. He doesn't care about policy and procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Washington is driven by policy and procedure, and at some point, unfortunately, that's going to jump up and bite him in the butt.
Yeah, it will, unfortunately. Now, one other thing for you, because in the next few moments, I want you to tell everybody about the Black Elephant organization that you have as a consultant, and I also want you to tell everybody about your very popular afternoon drive time show. But right now, there's a threat coming from the signing of the executive order regarding immigration today that cities like Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, and San Francisco, who proclaim themselves sanctuary cities, could lose up to $2.7 billion of very needed federal funding. Don't you think that's pretty excessive to institute immigration reform, sir?
No. If you are a state within the United States of America, it is your responsibility to follow the federal mandate. And if you don't, then the feds have every right to exact some sort of a punishment.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I live in the District of Columbia, and so, yeah, this is going to hit me. This is going to hit me in the pocket.
Yeah.
And, you know, and this might be the impetus that I need to move the heck out of Washington. But I have no problem with federal funds being withheld from cities who are just blatantly flaunting federal law.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Listen, you got the Black Elephant organization that you just created. Tell everybody about that around the world, and especially those who are listening maybe in some of the other stretches of America who've always wanted to run for office but never had anyone to give them counsel. Can you tell us about your organization?
Sure. Well, I founded Black Elephant Consultant LLC truthfully back in August.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been slowly building, and I'm talking to people like you and Lonnie and Melanie and a few other people to bring them on as consultants, media consultants, social media consultants. And what Black Elephant Consultants LLC is a consulting company that, one, is working to preserve religious liberties, not just here, but also, universally across the planet. But we also, being communication specialists, work with clients and others who want to articulate messages, not just to urban America, but to all America in such a way that our community can understand that conservative, Bible-based, moral message of, smaller government, self-accountability, responsibility, lower taxes, all the things that you and I all agree are the things that make America great. So, yeah, go to the website, blackelephantconsultants.com. There's a Twitter page, BLK Elephant LLC. That's the Twitter. Go check us out. Drop us a note. If there's something that we can do, give us a call. I'm sure that we can work out, a contract, something that's mutually beneficial. But we are here to fundamentally reshape America like our president is doing, reinstituting religious liberty and constitutionalism.
I first and foremost, I love you, man, for what you're doing. Because there are lots of individuals out there, good people, who want to run for office, who want to do something to change America, but they've been functionally kept out of the fray of politics for all types of reasons, and they need an encourager like you, a strong influencer in faith and also in politics. And I couldn't think of a better consultant than Ralph J. Chittams Sr. And in fact, I consulted him for Open Heart Closed Case. So I'm just going to let y'all know this is a wise man and a very good man, a godly man that you all should be calling upon. And so they can get in contact with you where?
They can contact me. I'm going to give them, my email. It's Chittams, CHITTAMS, at blackelephantconsultants.com.
There you go.
Like I said, this isn't some fly-by-night
Operation Run from Somebody's Basement. No, we have our own URL. We are a legally organized LLC here in the District of Columbia. So, give us a call and you can feel safe that you're dealing with professionals, like myself, Lonnie Poindexter, Ken McClinton, the exceptional one, Melanie Collette, and, I'm in discussions with a few other people. I'm not going to put them on blast. They know who they are. Get me your stuff.
He is the man, Ralph J. Chittams. Thank you so much. God bless you, man. And when you're in the chat room, please put that link so that everybody, this is your homework assignment, everybody, share that link to everybody. You know that there are good people who want to run for office and they refuse to because they ain't got no help. Help is on the way. Thank you, Ralph. God bless you, sir.
God bless you. Have a great night.
That was the Kraken. Yes, Ralph J. Chittams Sr. No, I didn't release him as greatly as many people would expect, but that message right there needed to get out. This is our final period of commercials, and we will be right back after these with none other than Shannon Wright from the Shannon and Mike morning show, The Right Way.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, TECN Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on some integration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, TECN Radio.
Good evening. Hang in there.
The best late-night conservative talk show in
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. They told me that I needed to be humble, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I decided to be awesome instead. That's the Willie Lawson Show, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. here on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, as we have arrived at our non-commercial, we're on the air. We're live. I know that you don't have an experience like this in radio, we are talking with the beautiful and vivacious Shannon Wright from The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the morning, the most successful drive time program on SHR Media and TECN. They jumped from number 25 to number 22 in our rankings last week. In fact, they are, I believe, this week the number 4 show on TECN. So congratulations to you all on your mighty, mighty success.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and coffee is very important. I hope that you got your IV hooked up for tomorrow.
I do. I'm good. We're we're doing what we got to do. I got coffee supplies, and I'm good. I'm good. Michael and I unfortunately came home from the inauguration a little bit under the weather, so the voice is a little raspy. But
yeah,
we're good.
You're listen. I want Mike to know, because hopefully is Mike still alive? I just want to know.
Yeah, he is.
I want y'all to know. We got that on tape. Right now, Mike is still alive. Now, he should be alive tomorrow morning for the radio program, too.
Now, let me just tell you, I resent the fact that you are expressing this concern when it was him who was expressing that he understood why this man would want to rob a bank and go to prison rather than go home to his wife.
Now, wait a minute. I understand Mike's understanding. So I'm going to I'm going to relay to you because my Raisin Brand told me this. I'm going to relay to you why we need to be see. Don't do the part because that means that you're not listening.
Oh, okay. Is that what that means? All right.
Okay.
So we'll just stick with okay.
Full disclosure, she ain't listening. Okay.
I'm listening. I want to hear this.
And I know all the women in the chat room right now understand that I'm about to give an understanding so that she understands what Mike understands. Sip. Okay, wait, don't do that one because that means you're not listening. What Mike?
I'm just waiting.
What I know you are. What Mike is trying to say is that sometimes men can be so broken in heart and so desperate to please their woman, and when they feel that they have failed in that capacity, they are already in a prison, psychologically, emotionally, mentally. So the best thing they can do is not only have that symbol, but also have the firm representation in their life of the pain and sorrow that they're going through. It hurts a man when he don't please his woman. So yes, he was desperate and he wanted to rob the bank because he wanted to let her know that symbolically he was hurt and that she would not have his love and affection from a prison cell. So there you go. See, I understand.
Yeah.
See, Dave Milner understands. Yeah, Ralph understands.
Ralph better be careful because I'm coming for him. He better be careful. Wow. So you understood. And you understood that Mike understood.
See,
okay, I got you.
No, okay, wait a minute. No, that I got. See, when a woman says I got you, it's because she's already scheming.
Oh, no. I don't have to do that.
Don't pick up that phone and call my wife. My wife.
I want you to explain the fact that you understood this whole story. I want you to explain that to her.
No. You don't want that. You don't want that. No. She rests in comfort.
No, I think I do. I really think I do.
Poor Mike. I'm telling you, I feel so bad for Mike. Mike was backpedaling for 15 minutes with Shannon on the air this morning. He didn't know whether to go left or to go right. I'm telling you, that is a great morning show, first and foremost. Congratulations to you all. But you had that man. Oh my, I felt bad for Mike. I was like, oh my God. I was like, can we open a door to get him out? I was throwing a towel into the ring because I know he was beaten.
Listen, nobody made him say he understood that man wanting to rob a bank rather than go home to his wife. That's it. There was no spin. There was no pedals on that one. I'm sorry.
Well, Mary Brockman agrees with you. So does Melanie. They agree with you. For some odd reason, they don't understand that we understand what he understood. See?
And that's because we know you shouldn't.
Well, you went to the inauguration, and the pictures of you are absolutely beautiful. And I'm not blowing smoke up you because you're my baby sister. I'm just saying you look absolutely beautiful, and Mike looked absolutely stunning. You all look very beautiful. What event were you attending in which you had that lovely dress?
Well, let's see. For the one that I was in the picture with Michael, that was the night of the Texas Bowtie and Boots and the Illinois Midwest Heartland Balls.
Wow.
And the white was Wednesday night at the Watergate Hotel. That was the RNC Salute to African American Leadership Gala.
And you were photographed with Michael Steele, former Lieutenant Governor, former RNC person at that particular event. And you look very young and very vibrant. How do you do that, having attended so many events during the inauguration?
Tubes, bottles, and jars.
but you look vivacious. And congratulations to you. Just want to ask you one political question because I know that I'm running behind schedule, and I thank you so much for being so gracious. I know that you're going to have to wake up in a little bit for your morning show, and we hope Mike will be there.
He will be.
Mike, if you listen, man, sleep with both eyes open and both ears. That's all I'm saying. Your commentary and brief, basically, are you happy with the performance of Donald J. Trump from inauguration on as President of the United States?
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised that, like him or not, he is actually sticking to a lot of the things he campaigned on. And he's doing what he's got to do to get them done. I think the fact that somebody ran on a platform, they won on that platform, and they're now trying to actually do the things on that platform, I think is awesome.
It is. It is indeed. Now, how can people listen to the most popular drive time show on TECN and SHR?
Well, good thing you asked that question. They can go to the Exceptional Conservative webpage and the TECN link, and right in there, you will find Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the morning.
Awesome. You all are doing a wonderful job. Actually, Mike is, and it's good that you're hanging around him. So,
I just try not to pull him down.
Mike, run, man, run! God bless you. Love you.
You make it sound like, you should be scared.
He should be. but I did make an anonymous call to let the world know, at least the Popo know, that you did hit him. So that those abuse, they're going to be coming to the house and they're going to be asking about the abuse. I just want to let you know that.
Oh, okay. I'm good. Come on with the come on.
Shannon, Wright, The Right Way with Shannon and Mike every morning, Monday through Friday on TECN from 7 to 9 a.m. God bless you. Love you always.
Love you right back at you, big bro.
All right. Don't call my wife. Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful evening we've had. But I do want to leave you with this. There are concerns in America for the safety of our children. And I ask that you listen for the next few minutes to Pastor Donovan Larkins. And if he moves your heart, that you donate to our cause to raise $10,000 at Chicana Ranch.
Hello, I'm Donovan Larkins, pastor of Spirit of Life Christian Center in Dayton, Ohio. But I'm also the director of Chicana Ranch and the Chicana Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And today I want to just share with you some of our materials that we've developed so that you too can be part of promoting prevention, education, and safety awareness to youth. We have now our Protecting Innocence t-shirt. It's a powerful marquee or billboard that you can purchase and wear yourself that brings awareness that children need advocacy. It's a powerful, powerful piece. It's simply a picture of that with this marquee here with some additional wording on it, and you will want to be a part of that. We have posters that any of you pastors or any of you community centers, you may want to obtain some of these posters and post in the recreation center. It would be great to post this in the foyer of your church. It would be awesome for you to post this throughout the schools of your community. Involvement is what's necessary. Involvement is what makes the difference. We know that in order for evil to triumph, all that is necessary is for good men and women to do nothing. And then we have these little marquees. You can order 100 of them, you can order 50 of them, and you can pass them around to your family. You can pass them around at a family event or a local event that you're going to be at a festival or something. These are very handy, they're very cost efficient, and they make a powerful statement. They really make an impact. And then we have our Protecting Innocence ribbon. And in this package, it's not only just the ribbon, but it also has a message, a safety awareness message, actually a tip. And the tip encourages parents to exercise scrutiny with the relationships that your children are involved with. Today, we see more and more children being victimized by teachers, by coaches, and by other people, other supposedly trusted individuals. And we have to prepare our children if we plan for them to be safe. And then you will want to be involved with the overall Protecting Innocence campaign, because we're making plans right now to build a retreat recovery center on our 150-acre campus where Shekinah Ranch is housed. And you can get this brochure. We can email it to you. That way there's no cost associated with it, so that you can learn how you can join our Protecting Innocence teams. We are communicating with people globally, all over the world, that are interested in how together we can protect children from dirty, evil child molesters. We love to have you on board. We need your support. We want your prayers, and we welcome your financial contributions. Again, I'm Donovan Larkins, Shekinah Ranch Protecting Innocence Campaign. And by the way, camps are coming. So call us so that you can register your child at 937-422-6029. We'll see you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, thousands of children apply to that camp, and very few can get in because, by God, they don't have the resources necessary to take care of all that they wish to. They love children, and they love to heal children who have been broken in spirit and in truth by those who have advantaged themselves over them in the flesh. Would you do me the greatest favor of all tonight? Please donate whatever you can. 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, 500. Maybe you want to give the entire 10,000 because you know that 1 in 8 girls in this country are sexually molested, and I believe it is 1 in 20 boys. That number is too great, and the demand is too great to be met by Shekinah, even though they want to. Touch that red button, or go to other pages on the Exceptional Conservative Show or the TECN, the Exceptional Conservative Network, and donate today what you can. What you do today can heal a child tomorrow. If you don't remember anything else I've said this evening, remember this. Besides the fact that SHR Media Sackheads Radio is next at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, remember, God bless America. It's time for Americans to bless God. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow night for New Day, Black and Red. Peace. Well, good night and God bless.